Let's talk about models. Model in Django is simply a database representation, and a model is a database table. This is a code representation of a database table, rows and columns. So let's close these views and open our models file here. So inside these models, we can create a model or a database table by uh, creating a class called task, which means we are going to create a table called task inside our DB SQLite here. Let me minimize this. Inside this DB SQLite, we are going to create a table called task, and we are going to inherit from model. You can go ahead and have a look. If you click control and this model, you can see that there's a lot of code written beyond this, and at this particular moment it is just too much for you to be explained, but we are inheriting this model class inside our own task model here. So after defining this, we are going to have the fields. So for example, we want a name for this particular task. We can say models. And what is this? We want it to be a character field, which means we are going to accept text inside this and put a max length inside here of, let's say, 255. And next we are going to define a description for this task, and it is going to be models dot text field. This is just a text field. Why? Because we want to capture a lot of text, so we don't want to provide the length here, but we want to capture as much strings as possible. So, and also we can say date underscore created here. We say models dot date and time field here, and we can add a property called auto. Now add to true. What it means, when you create this or when you save a task, it is going to auto generate the date on which this task was created. So this is basically the representation of our task model, and you can see that this is following the classes lecture which I have given in my advanced Python course. So if you haven't watched that, you need to watch so that you can understand about classes and inheritance, polymorphism, or OOP concepts, object-oriented programming concepts. So you need to watch that video on advanced Python course. So let's define here. This needs to return a string, so you define a function called string and put two underscores and str and two underscores, and inside these curly braces you can put self here and hit enter. So what do you want to return from this? You want to return self dot name. Okay, so this is actually what we can call a model in Django. So let's save this code. After saving this code, nothing has happened yet, but what I need you to know is you have to go ahead and write a command that can actually tell our Django to create a table inside the DB SQLite table, a table called task. So let's go ahead and do that here. Let's Control C. What we need to do firstly is to go ahead and see if there are some tables or there's some data inside this table. So firstly, we need to tell the Django to create this model using Python. Python manage.py. Let me collapse this project explorer and say make migrations. Okay, so making migrations, it means you want to generate SQL scripts that are going to actually tell Django to create a table inside the DB SQLite. So let's execute this and have a look. You can see create model task. This is the task. Okay, so initial migration, and what it does is to create model task. And if you go ahead and open this inside our task, you can see there's a folder called migrations, and we have this 0001 initial.py. If you open this, you can see that it's translating what we fed as a class there, and it's trying to create a table called a task there. So this is the table name, and it's create a model. And the fields, you can see that there is an ID that is auto-generated, and this is the primary key, and the verbose name, and all the descriptions there. So this is simply a model which is being generated. But as of now, is this migration is not yet applied, so the table doesn't exist. But inside our Django app, in the memory, it's known that the model was created, but it awaits migrations to be applied. So we use the command as we used before. Excuse me, let me clear the screen again and use Python manage.py migrate to migrate this. And this means our table is going to be created in the database. As you can see, apply all migrations, admin, auth, content type, session, task. You can see that these are the tables that were created before, but a task is now part of these auto-generated tables here. So you can see applying migration task 0001 initial, and it's okay, which means we have successfully applied our migrations. So let's go ahead and go run our server. Manage.py, run server. After running the server, I want to go to the backend or to the admin panel. And after going to the admin panel, we need to, let's say admin. You can see that a session is there. So my username and password is already saved as an admin there. But if you look here closely, you can see that we have these two. These are two models which are there. They are groups model and users model. The users model is where our user was saved or was created. The admin user was created. So the groups, this is the groups or the permissions. If you add a user to a group, he can be an admin, he can be a client, and so forth. But as you can see, these are the two models, or these are the two tables that are saved or that are being shown in this backend. So I want to show our task model inside this backend so that the admin panel is going to simplify how you can actually work with your models. So let's go ahead and register it inside this using Visual Studio Code. So this is a model created. Let's close it and open this. We can go straight inside this task and inside admin, right? We want to register or want to actually make our task model appear in the admin side here, the admin, excuse me, in the admin side here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me close this first. Close it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's close this window. Let's go ahead and register this model inside this backend. So we are going to import. So let's say from period and the models, we want to import our task class, which is our model. And here we want to say admin. We are using this imported admin here, dot site dot register. Okay, what we want to register is our task. After doing this, save it, and you can see that our server is reloading. After the server reloads, we can go straight into this and refresh this page. You can see that our task is now appearing here. Okay, so if you click this task, you can see there are 0 tasks, and this admin site can actually work for you as the site administration to monitor or to manage your site. You can add tasks using this. Let's say coding tutorial, and you can see that the date is not appearing. The date created. Why? Because there is an auto now add. Let's save this. After saving, you can see that we have a task called coding here. Okay, so if you click this coding, you can see the details of this coding. The history, you can see it. As you can see, date or time created is this time, and the user created admin going something like that. So this is the history you can see in this admin dashboard. Okay, so you have seen that we have actually created our first model and registered it, and we have created our new task using the admin site without actually creating or without writing a lot of codes. So this is how you can actually create a model, and this model is a simple model. We are going to dive deep into models that has got relationships so that you can understand. Okay, so this is all you need to know about models. Before you go further,